Hi everybody, Judy here with Art Outside the Box. It's nice to see you. We're going to make a project today that I have, I've done quite a few of, but it's been a while, so I thought I would kind of revisit this. But something I used to be really interested in was the art of bookmaking, like small little notepads or books that you could give people for a gift. And this was always one of my favorites. So here's what it looks like from the front. As you can see, I didn't go crazy with color at all. I wanted it to be real simple. But then the magic of this is you open it up, and I hope you can see it, but inside it folds out into a star. So it looks really cool like this sitting on a table. And you've got all these pages inside that you can add photographs to, or you can journal in this, you can do collage, you can put like little pockets in here where you would put tickets of events you'd been to, and really kind of just personalize this any way that you want to for yourself, or you could give it as a gift plain. So the possibilities are endless as far as different themes to use. This one kind of reminded me of something you might give to someone as a wedding gift. You could even add some pictures of your own to it, or give it to them to personalize as they would wish. So we're going to do one a little bit different. I will warn you, the project takes a little bit of time. I'll go through the steps. It's something you kind of have to have some patience with, and you probably won't finish it all in one sitting. So let me get everything ready and we'll get started. The nice thing is you don't need a lot of expensive materials to make this. And I am going to open this one more time just to show you kind of what we're going for. So there it is, open. First of all, you're going to need some paper, and you'll have to cut that paper. So on this next one that I'm putting together, I've used 3 different colors. I've got my measurements on this little green sticky pad, but I thought these might be kind of cool together, and I've got an idea of what I'm going to do for the cover. So you've got 3 different sizes. They are all the same height, which is 5.5 inches, but then the widths are going to vary by 2-inch incrementals. So this piece of paper is 5.5 inches tall by 10 inches wide. And that's one set. That's going to be your outside set. The middle section is also going to be 5.5 inches tall, but this one is going to go down to 8 inches wide. So you've got 10 inches wide, 8 inches wide on the middle section. The innermost section is going to be the same height, which is 5.5 inches, but then you're going to go down 2 more inches. So you're going to have 5.5 inches high by 6 inches wide. Hopefully that makes sense. So it's 5.5 inches on all sheets of paper. The outer set is 5.5 by 10. Then you've got 5.5 by 8. Then you've got 5.5 by 6. You're also going to make a cover for the book. So you'll need a piece of paper, and this is like, it's a real thin cardboard, heavier than a card stack, but I'm not sure. We had some of the scrap paper in the back, so I just used this, but it is a little bit sturdy. So this one you just want to cut a little bit bigger, so you're going to go to 5 3/4 inches by 6 1/4 inches. And that's going to be the cover, and you'll need 2 of these. On all of the other ones that you're cutting, you'll need 6 of each color. Okay? So after you've got these all cut, and I'm going to start with the outermost, the first thing you want to do is fold them in half and give them a really good crease. So you'll end up with like a page of a book. And you'll do that with all 6 pieces, okay? When you cut, you want to make sure that you do it carefully. If you have a paper cutter, that's ideal for it. Otherwise, use a good ruler and a straight edge, so you make sure that you get them all the same size. It's kind of important when you go to put it together. All right, so I've got these folded. Fold this last one here. So that pile's all set. I've got one more to fold here. I like to use this bone folder too. This seems to give me a good crease. So I just want to line my corners up really well, press it down, and then crease it. And then here are the innermost pages. I know this looks a little confusing, but believe me, it'll all kind of come together as you start working with it. All right, so I'm gonna give that a good crease. All right, so now I have 6 of these. 6 in each color. And the next step is going to be to start gluing them together. So let's get ready to do that. Okay, I'm ready to glue these together. I am going to use just a regular glue stick. I have used double stick tape, and that works pretty well too, but I find this works equally as well. You're just gonna have to give it a little drying time. So take one of each of your different colors, and you'll be able to tell you're gonna work from largest to smallest. So open this up, and we're gonna put a line of glue right down the very edge here. All right, and then you're going to take your middle section, which is the next size down, line that up as carefully as you can so that the corners meet, everything meets. Press that down firmly. And then we're going to go over to the other side. Okay, so you can see how these are meeting up. Open that little fold up, put another line of glue here. And you stretch this over. Carefully line up your edges and corners and press that down. So if you've got everything lined up correctly, this should fold. See, I'm a little off right here, I can tell, but that's all right, we can fix that. That should fold down flat, just like so. All right, now we'll move on to the inside section. Glue that down. And give you a different view of this here so you can see what you're going for. It's like my glue stick is almost empty already. And we'll glue this down. All right, so you've got one section completed and 5 more to go. Okay, this is going to take a few minutes to kind of dry, so what I like to do is set this down someplace and put something heavy on top of it. And I'm at the library, so I will just, I'll grab a heavy book. All right, let's do just one more of these together to make sure that we've got it right, and then we'll put this together and work on the cover. So I've got my largest piece, the outside, and then I will glue that to the middle section, being careful to get everything lined up. And another strip of glue right here for the inner section. And you can pick any colors you want too. The first one I did that I showed you, I did it just with white, but any combination, black and white, all different colors, whatever you, oops, that came apart. whatever you have around the house. I've used a combination here of cardstock and construction paper. Cardstock is probably the way to go. It's going to hold up a little bit better. So when I'm done with this one, we'll have 6 of these. You can also do this with 7 or 8. And remember, you're going to want to let these dry. I'm not going to do that for sake of showing you how to put it together, but when you're working on it at home, I would give it a few hours to make sure that this glue's dry. All right, so you've got your 6 sections done. Now I'm going to get some, you got to turn this over. This is just some scratch paper I'm using. So lay one down flat with your glue stick. Make sure you get right to the very edges and just give it a good coat here. And then you're going to take your next piece, lay it down right on top of this, and you'll see you're going to have a little imperfection here and there. I've got one right here, and that comes with maybe being a little off on my cutting or folding or putting them together. But it's all going to look nice in the end, and I wouldn't worry about the little tiny mistakes. In fact, I can take this right now and just trim that little piece off, and nobody will know the difference. Here we go. Okay, so you're going to continue on until you've got all 6 of your pieces put together. And then this really should sit probably a good few hours to maybe even overnight to make sure it gets good and dry. Now I'm using, these are just the inexpensive glue sticks we use here, but if you want to make these and make sure that they're going to last a little bit longer, I would probably invest in a better quality of glue to put them together with. This stuff will tend to dry out after a while and come undone, but there are a couple of brands out there that you can pick up at the craft stores. One that I like is called Uhu. It's UHU, and they make a glue stick. It's actually quite a bit bigger around, so it goes on a little bit easier, but that's a good brand to try. All right, I'm going to continue on. I think you've got the idea here. So we'll get this on and my last 2, and then I'll show you how to put together the cover and get your whole book finished. All right, I have this all together, and the place that you really want to make sure that it's really well stuck is the spine, the back part of the book. That's what holds it all together. So make sure that you've got enough glue down there, you don't see a whole lot of gaps, and let that get really dry. But you can see how it's pretty much coming together, and looks like it's gonna open nicely. So far so good. So we'll set that aside, and then we're going to make the covers. So these are cut just a little bit bigger than the paper that we're using for the book by about 1/4 of an inch. So you're going to want to go 6 1/4. I'm sorry. 5 3/4, excuse me, by 6 1/4. So 5 3/4 across by 6 1/4 high. And that'll work for you. So cut that out of some cardstock, and then we're going to cover it. I found this kind of cool paper at home that I'm going to use. It's almost like a tissue paper. You can use scrapbooking paper if you have any of that. You can use wrapping paper. Lots of pretty wrapping papers out there. Or if you want to have it plain, you can just use a plain piece of cardstock. But I'll show you a great way to wrap this if you're going to use something like this. I'm just going to take some glue again. So that's the empty one. And glue down my corners really well and just kind of smear some through the center. And I've got this sheet of paper cut a couple inches around, bigger than the board. So I'll press that down, and then I'm just going to diagonal cut the corners here. Not sure where I got this paper. I've had it for a while. But you'd be surprised what you can find around your house to reuse and make things out of. Put some glue on the paper. And then you're just gonna fold it, kind of like wrapping a present. And this will give you really nice corners. Crisp corners. Last one. Okay, so we're all set. That's all covered, and I've got the other one done. Now I'm gonna throw a little embellishment on here. So I found this, it's a little dragonfly, and it's just a inexpensive little gadget. You can get some of this stuff probably, oh, I don't know, at the dollar store or at Meijer, Walmart. They both carry some crafting things. So I took a piece of paper that coordinates with the one that I have in the center, and I'm just going to center that. Well, almost centered. I'm just eyeballing this. I probably should measure it. And then the dragonfly, he's not going to stick with this, so I am going to use some tacky glue, and I'll have to let and let that dry for a couple of hours. So I'm going to set him aside right now. All right, I put the dragonfly on here with some of this tacky glue. So this is going to take a little while to dry, but he's staying on there pretty well. We're just going to set him aside for a minute. But first what I'm going to do is take, so that'll be the front cover. I'm going to put the back cover on, and I'm going to use a little of the tacky glue. Just a little. And then I'm also going to use the glue stick. But I want to make sure the cover's really, really secure. So I'm working on the back right now. Let's glue these edges down. Put a good coating on there. And line this up, make sure, because it's a little bit taller than it is wide. So line that up with the back, with the spine. And then press down firmly. Once you get this all put together, I would suggest laying it under a heavy book and just letting it sit for a good 12 hours. Now the other thing I'm going to do is take, hopefully this is going to go through this thick paper, but I've got a hole punch here, and I want to punch a hole. Probably should have done that first. Here we go. Right there for a ribbon. Okay, here's how my top's gonna go. So I want to kind of line that hole up with the one I punched in the bottom. And then I'm going to glue the top on the same way. Lots of glue. want to make sure this is really stuck down here. I can't emphasize that enough. Lay that down. Give it a good press. And I'm going to show you how to do the ties, but like I said before that, when you get to this point, I would just let this sit somewhere overnight. But I want to show you how I finish it off. So I've got some little strands of ribbon here, and I'm just going to thread that through. Tie a little knot. And there's one. And do the same thing with the other side. It'll be much easier to work with when it's all dry. I'm being kind of gentle here because I don't want it to fall apart. All right, so you can just tie this together. And there you have it. Makes a nice gift, and when you open it up, it's a great place to put photographs, mementos, anything you wish. And there goes the dragonfly. All right, everything's all dry, and I am ready to go. So my little dragonfly stuck, and everything opens up really nicely. So I could go ahead and put some photographs in here, or whatever I chose to, or give it away as a gift. So there's one idea. Here's another idea. And with these, you can just kind of let your imagination take you away. Thanks for being here tonight. I appreciate it. Happy crafting, and I'll see you in a couple weeks. Bye-bye.